How my deranged player became the undisputed Rat King. Recently, the players in my campaign were exploring a sewer network where people had been disappearing. Their goal was to find and save a local priestess down there who can remove a curse on an NPC member of the party. Deep within the labyrinthian sewer network beneath the city, the party is trudging through piles of trash, refuse, and unspeakable smells. The party rounded a bend to find 4 were-rats picking through piles of refuse and trash, hunting for their next meal. They are chattering to each other. None of the were-rats realized that the party had stumbled upon their nest. The Eldritch Knight, from here on out known as EK, turned to me with a grin and told me I cast Disguise Self. I make myself look like a humanoid rat creature and put a crown on my head. I am immediately concerned. Eldritch Knight walked up to the 4 were-rats calmly, confidently.
"The time has come, my children. Your king has arrived, and I will lead you to the surface to take what is rightfully yours. The time of digging through trash and filth is over. Follow me to food and to glory."
The were-rats lifted their noses into the air, using their keen sense of smell to determine whether or not this stranger is in fact their king or an imposter. They approach cautiously, sniffing rapidly, noses twitching. They chatter to each other and bow their heads in submission to Eldritch Knight, their king. The rats fall in behind their king as he leads the party deeper into the dark, dank tunnels of the sewer. The party proceeds through the dungeon, trying to find the kidnapped citizens while fighting denizens of the dark. I am secretly panicking, as the rats are immune to all non-magical damage. Nothing in the dungeon can harm them, including the boss. The party quickly figured this out, so an idea popped into my head. I decided to shoehorn in a shambling mound. I had my players roll for initiative, and perfectly, Eldritch Knight commanded his rats to attack the shambling mound. The rats charged the shambling mound, clawing and biting the shambling mound at the behest of their king. One by one, the shambling mound pulled the rats into its body, trying to suffocate them. Panicked, Eldritch Knight rushed to the shambling mound and plunged his arm deep into the shambling mound's fingers, desperately searching for his rats. The entire party stacked help action after help action after help action to aid Eldritch Knight. He grabbed a hold of slimy wet fur and pulled. With a wet sucking sound, a were-rat is pulled free from the shambling mound. Eldritch Knight dove back in without hesitation and pulled out 2 more of the rats. The party is doing their best to fight the shambling mound and managed to kill it, but unfortunately they were too late to save the last rat. Eldritch Knight pulled out the motionless rat and laid it down gently on the sewer floor. That's when I let Eldritch Knight know that his magical disguise had worn off. The 3 were-rats stared at him in shock and awe. Eldritch Knight began to cry. Heavy chest-racking sobs ripped out of him as he mourned over the corpse of the were-rat that perished. And of course, he rolled a natural 20 on his performance check. I desperately rolled insight with advantage on the 3 remaining rats, hoping for a natural 22. None of them roll above 15. The rats squeak amongst themselves and approach the crying knight. One placed a paw on Eldritch Knight's shoulder, and they all shared a moment of silence over their fallen comrade. The party happened upon the survivors and the kidnapped villagers, and most importantly the local priestess before getting to the boss. There are 20 survivors in total. Eldritch Knight turned to his 3 were-rats and commanded them to attack the survivors. What? My were-rats bite all of the survivors. I need every one of them to make Constitution saving throws against a DC 12, or be cursed with were-rat lycanthropy. Any of them that succeed attack again, Eldritch Knight said. I turned to the player in shock. The rest of the party is furious. Eldritch Knight calmly explained to the party as if it is completely obvious. They already know that the priestess knows the remove curse spell. When the boss is killed and it is all over, she can uncurse herself and all of the survivors. The curse will make it easier to keep them alive as well. The party agreed, but on the condition the priestess remains uncursed. Eldritch Knight nodded, but he can't hide the grin spreading across his face.
"Get 'em, boys!"
He now has 22 were-rats following him. The party nears the boss room and internally I am screaming. In my final act of desperation, I alter the boss's statistics so that they have several attacks which deal acid damage and several AoEs. Anything that makes sense. The party enters the boss room and I have everyone roll for initiative. The small platoon of were-rats swarm the boss, tanking every hit the boss dishes out. Several of the rats are performing help actions on the players, and things are looking extremely one-sided. 5 rounds into combat and none of them have taken any meaningful amounts of damage. Eldritch Knight and the rest of the party are holding back, watching the carnage unfold. I stop and smile. I have an idea. One of the were-rats realized that only the were-rats are fighting the boss. He begins to squeak and rapidly gestures to the party standing away from the melee. The other rats' black beady eyes focused on the party and realize that they are being used. Furious squeaks erupt from the pack of were-rats as they rally behind their new leader. Teeth bared, they launch themselves at the party. I have everyone make Constitution saving throws. Anything below a 12 means they are cursed with were-rat lycanthropy. Miraculously, only Eldritch Knight failed the saving throws. Eldritch Knight immediately begins to turn. Black coarse fur ripped out of his flesh as his bones began to shift beneath his transforming flesh. He embraced the curse to maintain control of his mind. Fully transformed, he challenged the rebellious rat, while the rest of the party, severely wounded from the onslaught of rat bites, continued to fight the boss. Eldritch Knight slammed into his usurper, rending him with claws and teeth. The rest of the were-rat pack form a circle around the two battling rats. The usurper sinks its teeth into Eldritch Knight's shoulder, eliciting a pained squeal. Eldritch Knight kicked the rat off of him. Blood pumped out of the gaping wound in his shoulder. The usurper licked the blood covering his snout and bared his teeth in confidence. The usurper charged, thinking that it could finish Eldritch Knight off with another flurry of attacks. Eldritch Knight ducked the first swipe, rolled forward, and grabbed the usurper's tail as he rolled past. He pulled hard. The usurper's legs were pulled out from underneath him, and he smacked his face against the stone floor, breaking a few teeth on impact. Eldritch Knight had the usurper's tail in both hands and bit through the tail with a single horrible chomp. The usurper cried out in pain and tried to pull himself away from Eldritch Knight. Eldritch Knight pulled the tail taut between his hands, like a pink Garrett, and stepped over the cowering rat beneath him. He slipped the rat's own tail around its neck and pulled. Claws raked over stone, legs kicked out desperately, as the rat's eyes bulged. The circle of rats watched in shocked silence as their new leader was strangled to death with its own tail. The party finished off the boss as the 21 remaining were-rats fell to their knees in complete submission to Eldritch Knight. I turned to Eldritch Knight and said, "Well, the boss is dead. You have 21 were-rats at your command, and you yourself are also a were-rat. What do you do now?" Eldritch Knight thought for a moment, then addressed the party.
Go on without me. I'll start a new society down here, and you can continue the quest without me while I tend to my people.
Eldritch Knight decided to stay down in the sewers with the survivors, while the party returned to the surface with the priestess, ready to continue the quest. My player who played the Eldritch Knight rolled a new character. I asked him why he did that, and he responded, "Nothing I could do from that point on would ever be able to top that." I nodded. All hail the Rat King. A DM can never plan for the crazy things players will do. What a fantastic example of a player thinking outside the box to ruin even the best of plans. Have you ever outmaneuvered your DM? Please tell us of your experiences and comment your reactions below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, All Things D&D. Our next video will be posted in 2 days, so stay tuned for more amazing Dungeons & Dragons content.